Have you ever woken up feeling overwhelmed, like the world is moving too fast and you're barely keeping up? You scroll through your phone, see everyone else succeeding, and feel this weight pressing down on you. You wonder why life feels so chaotic, why small problems spiral into big stress, and why peace seems impossible. What if I told you that the answer isn't about changing your circumstances, your job, or your relationships, but about changing one simple thing, the way you think every single day? In the next few minutes, you'll discover 9 powerful truths you can tell yourself daily to calm your mind, take control of your emotions, and face life with quiet strength. These aren't motivational clichés. They're timeless lessons from Stoic philosophy that have helped people for thousands of years to live with clarity, courage, and inner peace. By the end of this video, you'll have a mental toolkit to navigate any challenge without losing yourself. Are you ready to finally feel steady in a world that never stops moving? You can control only your mind. It sounds simple, almost obvious, but most of us spend our days trying to control everything else. The weather, other people, traffic, the economy, even opinions about us. Stoic philosophers like Epictetus taught that focusing on what we cannot change is the root of frustration, anger, and anxiety. Imagine you're stuck in traffic, late for an important meeting. You can't make the cars disappear, and getting angry won't make time move faster. But you can control your response. You can breathe, observe, and choose calm instead of panic. Every day, remind yourself, my mind is mine to govern. Your thoughts are like a fortress. If you control the gates, what you let in and what you let out, you protect your peace. Small, repeated acts of this self-discipline, pausing before reacting, questioning your assumptions, noticing your impulses, build resilience. Over time, this becomes a habit. You start to notice fewer unnecessary arguments, less irritation at minor setbacks, and more clarity in decision-making. The world around you will continue to be unpredictable, but within your mind, there is a constant you can rely on. This is the first Stoic truth to carry every day. Focus on what is yours to control and let everything else flow around you without stealing your peace. This too shall pass. Life is a constant stream of change, whether we like it or not. Moments of joy can vanish as quickly as moments of hardship appear. The Stoics understood that clinging too tightly to either pleasure or pain only deepens our suffering. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that nothing is permanent, not wealth, not status, not even our own emotions. Think about a time when everything seemed unbearable, a failure, a rejection, or a sudden loss. At the moment, it felt endless, but eventually the storm passed. And the same is true for moments of happiness. They are fleeting, reminding us not to become attached, not to expect life to remain comfortable forever. By repeating this phrase to yourself daily, you cultivate perspective. When challenges arise, you recognize that they are temporary, and your mind can respond calmly rather than react in panic or despair. When good fortune arrives, you savor it without clinging, understanding its impermanence. This awareness creates balance, a mental equilibrium that shields you from extreme highs and lows. Life's changes are inevitable, but your ability to endure them without losing your composure is a skill you can practice every day. Remembering this too shall pass transforms how you experience each moment, allowing you to live fully without being consumed by fleeting circumstances. Expect challenges, don't fear them. Life will never be without obstacles, and pretending otherwise only sets you up for disappointment. Stoics practiced a method called premeditatio malorum, mentally preparing for possible difficulties before they occur. By anticipating problems, you don't invite negativity, you train your mind to face adversity with calm and reason. Imagine waking up knowing that today, at some point, you might encounter a difficult conversation, a delay, or a small failure. Instead of being shocked or frustrated when it happens, you are ready. You respond with patience and clarity rather than panic or anger. Daily reminders of this mindset strengthen your resilience. Each time you mentally rehearse challenges, you shrink their power over you. Your fears lose their grip because you have already faced them in your mind and survived. Life will throw surprises, but you can meet them with composure. You may stumble, yes, but the difference is you are not overwhelmed by the unexpected. By telling yourself every morning that challenges are natural, you shift from avoiding life's difficulties to embracing them as part of growth. The obstacle is not your enemy. Your reaction is what matters. Master your response, and every challenge becomes a chance to exercise strength, patience, and wisdom. Focus on actions, not outcomes. Too often, we tie our happiness and self-worth to results we cannot fully control. A student worries about the grade before even opening the exam. An athlete obsesses over winning instead of practicing. A professional frets over recognition rather than the quality of their work. Stoics remind us that effort is ours to give, while outcomes belong to forces beyond our control. Epictetus said that it is not events themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. By committing to doing your best in each task, studying, working, helping others, you cultivate integrity and competence. The results may follow, or they may not, but your peace remains intact. Each morning, remind yourself, I will focus on what I can do, not what I cannot. This mindset reduces anxiety and prevents disappointment from ruling your emotions. Over time, it creates a sense of freedom. You are no longer a prisoner of chance, luck, or external validation. Instead, your satisfaction comes from knowing you have acted rightly, consistently, and intentionally. Daily practice of focusing on effort rather than reward trains your mind to value process over outcome, action over idle worry, and personal discipline over uncontrollable circumstances. By mastering your actions, you gain the only power you truly have, the power of choice. Judge less, observe more. Most of our frustration comes not from what happens around us, but from how we interpret it. When someone speaks sharply, acts selfishly, or behaves unpredictably, our first instinct is to react, to label them as bad or wrong. Stoics taught that we suffer less when we pause to observe without judgment. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself to see people as they are, not as he wishes them to be. Imagine a co-worker interrupts you during a meeting. Instead of letting anger take over, you notice the action, consider possible reasons, and choose a measured response. Perhaps they are stressed, unprepared, or unaware. Your peace does not depend on their behavior, it depends on your own mind. By practicing this daily, you reduce needless conflict and mental clutter. Observation without judgment allows you to understand situations clearly and act wisely. It also teaches compassion. People act from their own struggles, ignorance, or fears. When you internalize this principle, you stop carrying the burden of everyone else's mistakes or moods. Life becomes less reactive and more intentional. Each day, remind yourself, I control my mind, not others' actions. I observe, I understand, I respond calmly. This simple shift transforms relationships, reduces stress, and strengthens your emotional resilience. Practice gratitude daily. It may sound simple, even obvious, but most of us overlook it in the rush of life. The Stoics recognize that contentment does not come from acquiring more, but from appreciating what we already have. Epictetus suggested reflecting on the small blessings, health, food, shelter, friends, the ability to think and act, every single day. When you start noticing what is already present, your mind becomes less focused on what is missing or what went wrong. Picture waking up and listing 3 things you are grateful for: a warm meal, a kind word from a friend, the quiet morning air. These reminders shift attention away from complaints and worry, replacing them with appreciation and perspective. Gratitude does not ignore problems, it simply strengthens the mind to face them without despair. It is a daily exercise of noticing, acknowledging, and valuing life's gifts, large and small. Over time, this habit rewires your thinking. Challenges still arise, but your baseline is one of calm and awareness rather than frustration or envy. Each evening or morning, remind yourself of what you have, not only what you want. By practicing gratitude every day, you build resilience, contentment, and a quiet joy that is not dependent on circumstances, but on the disciplined choice to see the good already present in your life. Live according to nature. For the Stoics, this meant understanding your role as a human being and aligning your actions with reason, virtue, and the natural order of life. It is not about living in the wilderness or rejecting society, but about living authentically, simply, and with integrity. Every day you face choices that test this principle: how you speak, how you act, how you respond to others. Acting against your nature, chasing excess, dishonesty, or fleeting pleasures leads to inner conflict and dissatisfaction. Living according to nature means embracing what is essential: honesty, courage, self-discipline, and compassion. It also means accepting the world as it is rather than as you wish it to be. By reminding yourself daily to act with virtue and clarity, you create a steady compass to guide your decisions. Marcus Aurelius wrote about observing the world without judgment and performing your duties with excellence, not for recognition, but because it is right. Applying this today could mean simplifying your desires, treating others fairly, or focusing on work that matters instead of distractions that waste your energy. Each small act of alignment strengthens your character and sharpens your judgment. Living according to nature is not a one-time achievement. It is a daily commitment to act rightly, accept reality, and cultivate a life of purpose and balance. You are not your emotions. Stoics taught that feelings arise naturally, but they do not have to control your actions. Anger, fear, jealousy, or sadness are signals, not commands. When you wake up anxious about the day ahead or frustrated by someone else's behavior, it is easy to believe these emotions define you, but they are passing states, like clouds moving across the sky. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that he could observe emotions without being consumed by them. Each day, practice noticing your feelings without immediate reaction. Label them, understand their source, and decide how to respond intentionally. For example, if you feel irritation at a colleague, pause before replying. Recognize the emotion, consider what is within your control, and respond thoughtfully. This habit creates distance between impulse and action, giving your rational mind the lead. Over time, you gain clarity, reduce regret, and strengthen self-discipline. Emotions remain, but they no longer dictate your life. Daily reminders that you are separate from your feelings empower you to act with reason, maintain calm under pressure, and respond rather than react. By consistently practicing this, you build a resilient mind that navigates life with balance even when emotions run high. Death and time are teachers. The Stoics believed that reflecting on our mortality sharpens perspective and clarifies priorities. Life is limited, and every moment is an opportunity to live with purpose. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that each day could be his last, not to dwell in fear, but to focus on what truly matters. When you remember that your time is finite, petty complaints, trivial worries and distractions lose their weight. You start to see what is essential: meaningful work, honest relationships, personal growth, and virtue. Daily reflection on mortality encourages urgency without panic, presence without anxiety. It teaches appreciation for the ordinary moments: a quiet morning, a conversation with a friend, the chance to contribute or create. This awareness also helps you endure hardship. When setbacks arise, you realize they are temporary episodes in a broader life story. You act with intention, not avoidance, and you treat each day as valuable. By keeping the limits of time in mind, you can prioritize actions that align with your values and avoid wasting energy on what is irrelevant. Death and time, when contemplated daily, become teachers that cultivate clarity, purpose, and gratitude, guiding you to live fully in every passing moment. Suffering is often a choice. Stoics recognize that pain is inevitable, but how we experience it is within our control. Physical discomfort, loss, or failure cannot always be avoided, yet our minds decide whether these events break us or teach us. Epictetus wrote that it is not things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Consider a day when everything goes wrong. A project fails, a conversation turns sour, or your plans fall apart. You can let frustration consume you, or you can observe, accept, and respond with calm. By telling yourself daily that suffering is optional, you shift focus from helplessness to agency. You begin to see obstacles as exercises, not punishments, moments to strengthen patience, courage, and wisdom. This does not mean suppressing emotion or denying hardship. It means facing reality without surrendering to despair. Small, repeated acts of choosing perspective over reaction train your mind to endure without being overwhelmed. Over time, you become resilient, able to confront life's difficulties with dignity and strength. Each morning, remind yourself, I cannot always avoid pain, but I can choose how I meet it. This mindset transforms suffering from a threat into an opportunity for growth and mastery of self. Value simplicity over excess. Stoics believe that a life filled with unnecessary desires leads to distraction, dissatisfaction, and dependence on things beyond our control. When we chase wealth, status, or possessions, we hand over our peace to circumstances that are never fully stable. Instead, focus on what is truly essential: meaningful relationships, personal growth, health, and virtue. Seneca advised living with moderation, appreciating what you have rather than endlessly seeking more. Each day, remind yourself to simplify. Limit distractions, avoid overconsumption, and resist the pull of unnecessary wants. A simple meal, a quiet walk, honest conversation, a task done well, these bring more lasting contentment than fleeting pleasures or material accumulation. By practicing simplicity daily, you cultivate clarity and freedom. Your mind becomes less cluttered, your choices more intentional, and your life more aligned with what matters. Over time, this habit strengthens self-discipline and reduces dependency on external circumstances for happiness. Simplicity does not mean deprivation. It means consciously choosing what adds value and letting go of what drains energy or clouds judgment. In valuing simplicity, you create space for inner peace, focus, and purpose, turning everyday living into a deliberate practice of wisdom. Focus on progress, not perfection. Stoics understood that striving for flawlessness is a trap that leads to frustration and disappointment. Life is a continuous process of learning, growing, and refining your character. Every day presents opportunities to act with virtue, patience, and reason, and each small step counts. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself to measure success by effort and improvement, not by comparison to others or an unattainable ideal. When you wake up, Set the intention to do better than yesterday in thought, action, and attitude. Mistakes will happen, that is inevitable, but they are not failures unless you refuse to learn from them. By celebrating progress, no matter how small, you cultivate resilience and motivation. This daily reminder encourages persistence, steadiness, and humility. It shifts focus from self-criticism to self-improvement, from frustration at what is missing to appreciation for what is gained. Over time, this mindset builds competence, confidence, and calm determination. Life becomes a journey of continuous refinement rather than a series of unattainable standards. Each day, tell yourself, I aim to improve, to learn, and to act with virtue, knowing that perfection is not the goal, progress is. Choose your company wisely. The people you spend time with shape your thoughts, habits, and character far more than you realize. Stoics emphasized the importance of surrounding yourself with those who inspire virtue, reason, and calm, rather than constant distraction, complaint, or negativity. Seneca wrote that bad company corrupts good morals, while wise friends sharpen your mind and reinforce your values. Each day, consider who influences you most: colleagues, friends, family, or even the media you consume. Are they uplifting, thoughtful, and disciplined? Or are they reactive, envious, or careless? By intentionally seeking the company of those who embody the principles you aspire to, you reinforce your own practice of Stoicism. Simple actions: listening carefully, learning from their example, avoiding unnecessary quarrels, strengthen your character, and maintain your peace. This does not mean isolating yourself or judging others harshly, but prioritizing connections that nourish growth, patience, and understanding. Daily reminders to choose your companions wisely. Guide your mind toward clarity, resilience, and virtue. Over time, your environment supports your inner discipline, making it easier to act with reason, maintain perspective, and live in alignment with your values. Subscribe now to strengthen your mind and live with calm purpose every day.